Wait, Ground Slam? But Thunder has more damage and more range. Maybe this build has some gimmick to make Ground Slam better? Or maybe some cool mechanic? The answer is no. This video is intended for new players or players who don't like thinking about what to play, don't want to min-max all the stuff, don't want to trade all that much, or maybe don't want to trade at all, and just want to play something. This is probably the most basic and the simplest build that will carry you to lower tier maps without any investment. It can be built into something stronger if you like, and also the focus of this build is stunning enemies and bosses, but there are better guides and builds if you want to stun endgame bosses. I am using this build in Turmoil event and it is just simply effective in this race. My intention is just to get to level 90 to have more chance to get some rewards and then just play 3.0 better, because 3.0 is so much better at everything and playing 2.6 feels like a big downgrade. One thing to note is that in 3.0 all bosses has much more life. That means it is harder to stun. But there is new support gem for stun, but it is still not clear how will it change before final release. But this build could be good for league start. Well, enough about that, let's get into the build. I bought only 3 things: Kongor's Undying Rage and 2 rapid expansion jewels. Oh, and Meginord's belt. So overall price was like 50 hairs, which is nothing. By the way, none of these are required. You can just use whatever you find. But you will need high damage weapon and rings and amulet with high flat physical damage. I was so laid back I didn't even bother to get Merciless Lab. Lab in 3.0 is so much better. It is really hard to play 2.6 once you play 3.0. The rest of my items was whatever I found. Just some 5 link armor and just other items to cover my resistances and life. For helmet there are a couple options. Bringer of Rain, but I never really liked it and it is kind of expensive. Abyssus if you like dying, because some shit will always hit you. There is also Deidbell. It gives flat physical damage, but the rest stats are kind of meh. As for flasks, I don't care. Remove bleed, remove freeze, that is all I need. Of course, if you want to take it to the endgame bosses, then of course you will need some more expensive flasks. But I hate flasks, so I'm not gonna talk about them. Oh, and links, they should be on screen. With all frenzy charges and buffs, I have around 50k DPS. With higher level, 6 link ground slam, better flasks and better items, you can get way more. I am getting around 120 million XP per hour, that is with stopping and picking all the scrolls and orbs. So the clear speed and leveling speed is rather fine. One thing to talk about is stun threshold. If you have more than 75% reduce enemy stun threshold, which I now have 106, then it will use different formula, which is also on screen, so you will never have 100% reduce enemy stun threshold, which of course wouldn't make sense, because you would be able to stun everything, stun block and just trivialize all the content. But if you get 75% reduce enemy stun threshold without stun support gem, then you can use another support gem like multi-strike, maybe even fortify. I'm actually not using multi-strike and I'm quite enjoying it. Multi-strike locks you in place for a longer duration and it lowers your single hit damage, so you may not be able to stun all the bosses that you want. That's why I'm not using multi-strike, but mostly because I don't have 6 link. I don't feel like you need the explanation why I'm using Blood Rage or Golem or Herald of Ash or Hatred, and you don't need me explaining all the passive skill tree choices. Just life damage and stun threshold, and some AoE, and frenzy and endurance charges, and unwavering stance, and I done reflex. And you don't need a resolute technique if you are using Condor's Rage. Nope, you don't need me telling all that stuff. So just use my passive skill tree as a guide what to take but not how to get there. By the way, early leveling you should probably use Thunder, until you can use 5 link and get more stun threshold. And that's all for the build. If you want more details, check with the description. The next build video will be from 3.0 and it will be Caustic Arrow Berserker. I'm already over level 70, so it should be soon. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching and see you soon.